Hello journeyers, this is my second video for my brand new YouTube channel. I hope all is well with you. What I wanted to show you today is some of the things that I learned about feelings. When I started my recovery journey, I was pretty much against feelings. I would do whatever I could not to feel them. And then I was told that if I'm not going to feel the bad, then I can't feel the good. And that resonated with me. So I started to look into feelings. I didn't know how to use them. I didn't know how to feel them. I was pretty much dead in that area of my life. So, and the way that I would react is, let's see, my body would react and I would react and I'd say something's wrong. And then my next statement would be, quick, fix it, find an immediate solution. That's the first step. And then I would go right into the third step. There's 3 steps to your feeling process and your reaction. And I would just go from 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, and it caused me a lot of heartache. I became helpless and hopeless and full of doubt, and I didn't have any effective actions, and it was causing me a lot of heartache in my life. So what I started to realize was I was missing that second step. So the first step is something's wrong. The third step is the action. And so I would go right from something's wrong to an action without any thought, just to get rid of the feeling. The second step, which I was not happy to hear, was acceptance. So it's awareness, acceptance, and then action. And what has worked after discipline, which I was saying in my last video is discipline is self-love, was I would be aware of something. And then what I would do is I would sit still and feel the feelings. But I didn't do it by myself. Sometimes I had to call somebody. Sometimes I had to write. Sometimes I had to go out and take a walk. But I would try to, as much as I possibly could, be with the feelings. And I found that breathing really worked really well for me. Because what happens is, if I did it my way, I would make things worse. Because I'd rush into an action that didn't work, and then I would just make things worse. And I've found through a lot of practice of this that if I just sit, if I have a feeling and I just sit with it, and I actually feel the feelings, and you know, like I said, I've called people on the phone if they're really strong feelings. I've prayed. I've talked to my spiritual advisors and things like that, and to just so I wouldn't feel so alone in my feelings. And then because I invited my higher power into the situation, and I meditated and I breathed and I sat with the feelings, I would come to see options that I had. Whereas if it was just me, there'd be one option, and that was to get out as quick, fix it as quick as possible. And eventually the feeling would come back in anyway. I mean, I really thought that I could block all my feelings. I really thought my self-will could do this. And once I realized that that wasn't a good way to live, it wasn't a good way to discipline myself, I started to use this practice. So basically, I'll sit down, I'll ask my higher power to come in, or my spiritual guides, or whatever it is. It could be Gaia, it could be Mother Nature, whatever you believe. And then I would probably I would meditate on it, and I would probably start writing things down, and I would see actions. And then because I had the actions, different actions, I would be able to choose, where before it was an automatic reaction. I'd feel something, automatic reaction. It would just be a reflex. And a lot of times I ended up getting angry at myself, angry at other people. My relationships with people weren't working. And this has worked out so much better because I see my options. And then when I act when I take effective action, which is step number 3, then I live serenely and I'm able to deal with the consequences. So let's just say I have actions A, B, and C. I pick whichever I want, and then because I had a choice in the matter, there's a responsibility there. And then whatever the outcome would be, I would know, because I brought my higher power into it, that I'd be able to handle whatever it was. This acceptance, the second step, which is the acceptance, has been a huge, huge part in my recovering from my childhood. And the acceptance is that I honestly see what happened and I honestly let it go and I'm honestly moving on. And sometimes I have a struggle with acceptance because sometimes the acceptance doesn't, I can be really willing, but it doesn't come in as fast as I would like it to come in. So that is something that I have had to really work with, and it has helped me grow on my path in life. I know that with my higher power, which I make to be anything that I want, my higher power accepts me all the time and loves me all the time. My higher power is very fond of me and thinks I'm a worthwhile human being just as I am. So while I'm feeling the feelings, like I had a feeling last night of humiliation. Absolute, complete, and total humiliation. And I just kept thinking about my higher power and how my higher power loves me and isn't gonna be, and I'm not gonna be there by myself, and I'm a worthwhile human being, and just being a human. And I need to remember that I'm a spiritual being with having a human experience, and I have confidence that my higher power is there and that I'll survive whatever it is that I'm feeling. And so in doing that and in practicing that, I was able to not judge myself. I was able to not judge the person who caused the absolute humiliation. They were kind of like put out of the picture because now it was just between me and my higher power. And I was able to really feel my humiliation and let it go, accept it for what it was, and let it go. And now, because I was able to feel that, truly feel that, when I see that in another person, I'm going to have compassion because I'm going to understand what that feels like. And it's going to help me have an acceptance of that person and that person's humanness, and almost like a tie or a union to that person, because I believe we're all tied together. So the process is awareness, because our bodies are huge antennas and we feel it in the body first before it registers into the mind. And so I go into, I don't like this. This is not a great feeling. I want it to end right away. I want to run away. But I know if I run away, I have a choice to run away. It's not going to work out so great for me. I know I tried that acceptance before, so I'm just going to sit here with it. I'm not going to stuff my face with food. I'm not going to daydream about anything. I'm just going to kind of just sit here. And the big part of it was that I'm not alone. See, I always felt when I was growing up I was alone, and I realize now that I'm not. And then with the acceptance of myself and the patience with myself and the acceptance of the higher power that I might not get the solution right away, eventually I'm able to see. I was up all night with my feelings last night. I'm able to see options, and I'm able to act accordingly. And I just find my relationships, I'm not as reactive as I used to be. I'm a lot calmer. People respond to calmness a lot better. Until I accept the situation, the memory that's causing these feelings, the circumstances, I cannot have any surrender. I cannot have any acceptance. And we're supposed to feel feelings. As human beings, we have feelings and we're supposed to feel feelings. So anyway, this is one of the skills that I use to create harmony within myself and harmony around people. And I hope this was helpful. Be well.